With travel restrictions around the world, it has been a very tough year for the aviation industry. It has also been even more so difficult on some of the workers who have been laid off and are taking other jobs outside of the industry right now. Meanwhile, the airlines continue to fight for survival as aircraft remain underutilized and airlines reporting record drops in passenger numbers. While there is now talks of the travel passports and other initiatives to restart international air travel, it's going to be a long road of recovery to reach the levels of air travel that we saw prior to the pandemic. With would-be travelers not being able to make the trips that they would have otherwise made, likely due to the travel restrictions right now? Airlines around the world, especially those within Southeast Asia, have turned to other means to generate revenue, basically the side gigs that the airlines have been taking part in amid this large-scale aviation demand downturn. This video will take a look at some of these initiatives as airlines are looking at other means beyond carrying passengers and cargo in what is a fight for survival. Within months of the mass flight suspensions during the spring of last year, some airlines were able to restart some domestic flights as cases in their countries were reduced. While that was going on, most international services, barring the few repatriation and cargo flights, were being flown. As some countries were faring better in terms of their handling of the COVID-19 pandemic, travel to other parts of the world remained largely restricted, prompting some airlines to turn into a new idea, which now has been known as flights to nowhere. Basically, these flights would take off and land at the same airport, and often the routes that they would take would be for sightseeing purposes. In some cases, it would fly over other parts of another country and before landing back at home. This trend was first started by airlines in Taiwan, and since then it has been replicated by other airlines in South Korea and Japan. While some of these airlines did offer flights that actually took off and landed, other airlines offered an in-flight dining experience without the aircraft taking flight, basically turning an aircraft into a restaurant. Last fall, Singapore Airlines was one of the first airlines to do this with a Airbus A380 at Changi Airport. Travelers were able to dine on board the aircraft, including some seated on the premium first and business class cabins, while enjoying popular dishes such as satay and nasi lemak. More recently, towards the end of March, All Nippon Airways in Japan hosted its own onboard dining experience at Tokyo Haneda with a Boeing 777 aircraft. This particular event hosted 56 passengers who paid for the tickets that went anywhere between 29 to 60,000 yen. The idea of turning an airliner that would be flying at 30,000 feet or more into a fine dining restaurant is a nice one, but these events have been more often on select days and not everyone may be able to reserve a seat for the experience. So some airlines have decided to take one aspect of the travel experience, the food, and get into the retail and dining experience outside the airport. A prime example of this is Thai Airways, which opened pop-up restaurants in Bangkok with an aircraft interior theme, serving meals that would normally be offered on an ordinary flight. There is still a touch of being aboard a Thai Airways flight, as Thai Airways flight attendants and chefs would be involved in the serving and preparation of the meals. And then you get to the other option of not eating in a restaurant, but rather some airlines in Southeast Asia have opened up online orders for popular airline dishes. If you happen to live near the Metro Manila area, Philippine Airlines is actually selling the arroz caldo or the chicken rice porridge normally served at its mabuhay lounges. For around 690 pesos, you can have it delivered to your own home. Meanwhile, Malaysia Airlines has also began offering its satay normally offered on its business class to be available for order online and delivered to your home around Kuala Lumpur for less than 40 ringgit or 2,880 Enrich points. Meanwhile, across the world in the United Kingdom, if you happen to live near that area, you might be able to order some first-class meal kits from British Airways, which could go anywhere between 80 to 100 pounds. These are just some of the airlines that have been offering in-flight meal experiences for those who have been grounded since the pandemic began. Taking this idea even further, Thai Airways is looking to offer meals available for sale at convenience stores and supermarkets such as 7-Elevens in Thailand. For airlines, in-flight dining and meal preparation isn't really new, as this has been a mainstay in aviation for a while now, though now the pandemic has forced airlines to look into offering these meals beyond the airplane. Looking beyond the pandemic, many airlines are looking at other means beyond food in order to help offset their losses. Some airlines such as Thai Airways and British Airways have offered items for sale normally used on their aircraft, such as used teacups and plates. Beyond this, retail will be the next step for many of these airlines, with the AirAsia Group as a prime example of what we could expect in the future for airlines going beyond carrying passengers and cargo. The AirAsia group has been gradually shifting its business model and opening up new initiatives like AirAsia Food, AirAsia Fresh, and the AirAsia Shop, where you can actually order and have items delivered, including groceries, if you happen to be living in Malaysia. These are just some of the initiatives that airlines have been taking as part of their efforts to offset the drastic decrease in passenger traffic. While these airlines could diversify their businesses in the future like what AirAsia has been doing, it still remains a costly endeavor to maintain the aircraft currently grounded and have them ready for a flight when passenger traffic recovers. In the meantime, the airlines will have to make do with what they can do right now, and that is to look into other means of earning revenue beyond carrying passengers and cargo on aircraft. In the meantime, I definitely hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. This has been Flights in Asia, highlighting the news and updates from the aviation and travel scene in the Asia Pacific. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.